Hello, good morning, and welcome to a couple of little updates. This one is your investment update for the moment. Got me little shirt on, Frankenstein cufflinks. So today is your couple of updates I'm doing, and this one is a little investment update just to give you appraisal of what we're doing and where we are so far. I do appreciate that a couple of people have been a little bit, have taken what I've been doing lately sort of the wrong way, and therefore assumed that I was doing something else. Namely, I did have a couple of phone calls from people saying, oh my goodness, you know, is things that bad, you're having a fire sale? No, couldn't be further from the truth. No fire sale, no end of business sale, no end of whatever sale, nothing like that. Absolutely nothing like that. I'm going to explain to you exactly what I did. So let's deal with that one straight off. There was no fire sale. I had to, I found myself in a position where I needed to A, react, and B, I needed to test certain waters. I needed to find out if certain things were as I thought they might be. I know that sounds a bit cryptic, but if you want a long, lengthy explanation of everything that I did, no problem, it's all on the live. I'm giving you a quick snapshot here and now in this video, because I know that, you know, you haven't got time to watch 5 hours of live, and you're probably thinking, has Ian gone off his trolley? What's happened, right? I haven't gone off my cake, you're all right. So I'll try and deal with it as quickly as I can to give you a bit of a snapshot of what's been going on. First of all, I needed to react, and I needed to react to Change Checker. And that was purely and simply, this is not about going to war with them as such, although it is in a way, but it's only because it's a war that I feel like I've been forced into, and I want no part of. So I've got to use whatever filbert I've got to try and join in and play their game the way that these people want to play it. So getting away from the cryptic, what happened was Change Checker staff decided that they would not allow anybody to post our links on their social media. That might not sound like a big deal to a lot of people. It's a big deal because they allow the links being posted of anybody else. They sponsor other people, they allow various coin tubers to post their links, they allow customers to post links to deals that they might see. But all of a sudden, we're not allowing any links to do with TGBCH, and they put that in the public forum. I went back to Ian Glenn and said, no, this is not right. Me and you are in the middle of negotiations. We're supposed to be in the middle of negotiations to do a deal, and your people are overstepping the boundaries. I gave you my word that I wouldn't knock you, and I would just do it on a friendly rivalry basis for the time being until such time as we've sorted out. That was our agreement. His people started doing that, and in my layman's terms, they started punching us, and I wasn't having that. And then we've got the Royal Mint Swap Shop Group and all the rest of it, and you know, I don't know how many of these things are tied and how many of them are not, but I do know that the people that are punching us, if you like, are people that are looking like they are officially part of Change Checker or the Royal Mint. So I needed to react to that, and I needed to say to Ian Glenn, you've got to get these people to stop doing what they're doing whilst we're negotiating. Now Ian Glenn then came back to me and said, well, he said, I can't, I've got no control over them. And that made me annoyed, because it's like, well, maybe I'm talking to the wrong person then, because if you've got no control over them, I need to be talking to the person that's got control over them. That's who I need to be negotiating with. I don't want to be negotiating with someone who's got no control over his staff. I need the person who has got control over their staff. So, and I told him, well, you need to get them to stop and issue a public apology and say they're not going to do it, or I'm going to punch back. He reacted with, don't threaten me. And I'm like, well, it's not threatening you. It's telling you that if they don't stop, this is what I'm going to do. He didn't like that, and I thought, well, okay, so you want to play this game, because they do that in the conglomerate world, and some of you investors will know that, because, you know, the kind of ponds that you play in with your investments and stuff, you understand, some of you, about the boardroom and the directors and all the rest of it. Well, I'm not, you know, I understand it, I just don't want to play that game. You know, we are We are not in the realms of having meetings, taking months and months and months and months to set things up and all the rest of it. Ian Glenn and Change Checker, they owe us, actually owe us financially, and he knows it. And that's what I'm trying to deal with. Ian Glenn also mentioned to me that, you know, that they didn't know whether to sue us or meet us the first time. Well, okay, got that. And I told him at the time to sue us would be a waste of time for you and the Mint, because the moment you try and sue us, you're going to hand us 10,000 customers on a plate. So that wouldn't be a wise choice. The wisest choice is to sit round the table and talk to us. And that's what I've been trying to do. We got Ian Glenn round the table, and now he's gone away from the table. The Royal Mint won't come to the table. But we do know that they're both thinking about suing us, just like we're thinking about suing them. We have a certain pot of money put by to sue them, but it's not enough. So, let them have a go at suing us if they want. But now for them to do that, they need a cast iron solid reason to do that. The only reason they've got to sue us is slander, defamation of character, which I have not held back on. I have done it in such a way that I've dared them to sue me. You know, you ain't going to sue me? Okay, I'll say worse. I'll say even worse. I'll talk about a cartel and the monopoly and all the rest of it. I'll make you want to sue me. So, the weekend. I know one thing about the suing world. I know this, and you might get this too. The moment you want to sue somebody for what they've said on video, your solicitor is going to say to you, we're going to need to watch every minute of every hour of every video he's done. If you want to sue him for slander or defamation of character or anything like that, we're going to need to watch every minute's worth of footage that he's ever done, to look for every single time that he's mentioned you, to see whether or not we can actually find something to sue him on. So knowing that, and knowing that in advance, and knowing that all at the same time, this is what came about with the weekend. So it's like, okay, not only am I going to punch you, I'm going to punch you back. I'm going to punch you back for as long as I can stand up. It was about 36 hours. I'm going to punch you non-stop. And then I decided, once I finish punching for those 36 hours, I'll get a couple of days rest, and then I'm going to punch you every day, 12 till 5. And they don't know at what point I'm saying anything about them. They don't know when I'm going to say anything about them. All they know is I'm going to talk about them at some point every single day during one of those live videos. What does this mean? Let's look at this in the real terms. Let's look at this in the monetary terms. They're not going to be paying any less than £200 an hour for a solicitor to review the footage. And if I make sure there's 1,000 hours worth of footage, it's going to cost them somewhere in the region of 1,000 times 200 is what? £200,000. So it will cost them that just to review the videos. The only way to get through to these people is to hit them in the pocket. You can hit them with the lies and the fibbers and the dirty tricks and all the rest of it, but the only way you can really do any damage is to hit them in the pocket. So that's what I'm doing. I'm hitting them in the pocket whilst I'm also continuing with my own business. Now, I have to be very careful of how much time I spend doing that, because I need to concentrate on my business. I've got to make you money. I've also got to make sure I don't lose you money, and they can make us lose money. I don't like that, because then that puts me in a predicament with you. Not having that. I didn't want any of this crap. I just wanted to move up from the pond that we were in to a bigger pond where we could start selling all the packaged coins and everything else. Coast Guard. So that's what I wanted to do without any hassles, and all we've had is hassle from the beginning. I don't like that, because hassle costs money, and it's hard enough to compete with them on the prices without being cost thousands and thousands of pounds. And we have been cost thousands of pounds. Loss of business, all the rest of it. You're into, silly figures is what we've lost in income over the last couple of years because of this silly messing about with the Mint. So one of the reasons was to punch them back, and punch them back hard. Punch them back 10 times harder than they punched us, and I've done that, and I'm doing that. The other is if they want to go down this stupid legal route, then that's fine too. But I'm going to hit you in the pocket, and it's going to cost you £250,000 just to employ solicitors, just to look at the footage. That's before you've even spent a penny taking us to court. That's the message I've sent them, and that's why they're all running around like headless chickens now. We've been responsible for Change Checker and 288 Group dropping their postage prices. We are responsible for the Royal Mint running around like headless chickens to incorporate and install new distributors on their Royal Mint homepage. You can check all this out yourself, of which they're doing it so fast, in such a panic, that the companies they're adding to their distribution page haven't even been properly incorporated yet and don't even have their website address yet. And when they do, you're going to find out that this sudden new distributor is Collectology, or one of their things, which is also owned by 288 Group. It's all very dodgy, all backhanded, all that kind of stuff. That's fine. We'll deal with that as we go, right? We know what they're doing, customers know what they're doing, you know what they're doing. It won't be long before that kind of story is picked up by the national press and they will get slated, and at some point someone will take them to court for whatever, cartel, monopoly, the Monopolies Commission, whatever. All of those people will get involved at some point in the future. Why can I be so clear about that? Because a cartel is illegal and so is a monopoly, and if you investigate yourself and do due diligence and look at the dictionaries, Oxford English Concise, Johnson's, whatever, you'll find that the definition of a cartel and a monopoly is exactly what they are. Several businesses for a cartel all getting together to price fix, conspiracy to price fix. Well, it is. That's exactly what they're doing. 4 companies, 5 companies getting together to make sure that the price is fixed as it is for one company. So all of that is absolutely fact, guaranteed. You can't take any of that away. Pardon me. And that's why they haven't put us in court yet, because they're buggered. And they're buggered because they made this huge mistake when they set it all up. And I suppose, you know, one can say they set up a cartel on purpose. One could also say they sort of slipped themselves into a cartel, didn't realise they were doing it because they had their eyes on the money. Simple as that, really. Now, I wanted to do the equivalent of a leaflet drop over the entire country. That's what I wanted to do. But we couldn't afford that, obviously. What business can? A leaflet drop over 70 million people? You know, who can do that? And even then, if you did leaflet drop over the entire country, you'd end up wasting, 95% of the leaflets? Something along those lines, people that are not interested. So what I did for that weekend was I did a marketing campaign. I did an advertising campaign. I wanted to get a lot of things put to bed. Boom. So a lot of this slating and a lot of this bad mouthing that we're getting from their groups and their people and all the rest of it, I wanted all that put to bed. I want people fighting for us. Like a little platoon, not an army, like a little platoon, going out there, letting people know this company's actually sound. You know, they're a good company. One way of doing that is and getting in more business is some serious marketing. But why give that money to a load of leaflet distributors? I once did a deal with leaflet distributors to leaflet 60,000 leaflets, and then found out that to shortcut the entire job, this company would take a big bundle of leaflets and they would go into a post office and just put them on the counter. And that was them delivering the leaflets. What a rip-off. You never know what you're going to get. You just don't know what you're going to get. You could put a £2 advert in a newspaper. So I came up with the idea of the Peter Rabbit. That has now got us into more than 50 online newspapers, that stunt. So for £3, I got us into more than 50 online newspapers. Well, actually it's a bit more than £3 because it's not just the cost of the coin, it's the cost of us doing it and everything that we're doing. But still, even though it was it was more expensive than I thought it was, more than 50 online newspapers, new customers coming in, and so on and so forth. So the Peter Rabbit thing, that's doing its job. It's exploded, and it will continue exploding. So then the cheapy deal thing. So the cheapy deal thing didn't cost me as much as you might think it did. You know, I was almost begging people. Some of you were watching. I know one investor that was watching that spent a lot, and now they're worried they don't really want the gear because they're thinking it was some kind of fire sale. And it's the only person I think that got upset. Well, there might be somebody else, but they texted me and they wasn't too upset. And it's like, yeah, and they was a bit upset. It's only because they've got the idea wrong. And if I upset you, I apologise. But it's only because you've got the idea wrong. There's no fire sale. It's the equivalent of a leaflet drop in the entire country. That's what you've got to think of. So I give that money to the customers. I give that money to the people to get them to go out and talk. When somebody gets something for an unbelievable price, you have to sew their lips shut in order to stop them talking about it. Just like, if you think about it, you walk down the street, find a £20 note in the street, I defy you not to tell somebody within a week. Hope you find them, fellas. And ladies, if you've got a lady helicopter per person, just put up with that. So, where was we? Hang on, I'll come back. So yeah, getting back to the £20 note. You find a £20 note in the street, I defy you not to tell anybody within the week. You can't not tell somebody. If you've ever had, go back, think what you've had for nothing. You've seen things that you've had an unbelievable deal at some point in your life. I still remember the time. There's all sorts of moments in my life I've forgotten, but I still remember the time 35-ish years ago when I walked into a telephone box and all I had was 20p to use this, or 10p to use this telephone box. All I had to make this call, and I walked into the telephone box and I found a £10 note on the floor. You know, I was dancing all the way back home. So at a time I was also a bit skinned. So, you know, any time that you've had it off, just think about that. You never forget it. You never forget it. And you want to tell somebody about it. I walked into Sainsbury's once. They had a deal on prawns, packets of prawns, and it was buy one get one free, and then they had a reduction on them, and then there was a percentage off, and then there was even more of a percentage off because they were getting close to their sell-by date, whatever it was, but they weren't out of date, etc. And I took them through the till, and when I took them through the till, it worked out that my actual real cost on the till receipt was ½ per packet of prawns. What do you think I did? I went back to the prawn counter and I cleared the entire shelf, bought the lot, took them home, put them all in the freezer. Again, I had it off. Again, I will never ever forget that moment. Are you with me? You've had moments like that. Most people have had moments like that. And if you have a moment like that, you never, ever forget it. That was my biggest tool. And remember, for this business, as I've always said, I draw on past businesses, I draw on past successes, past failures, and I take a little bit from this one and a little bit from that one. The agent system, setting it up on eBay, I took from a business idea 20 years ago, 18 years ago. So, and that's what you're paying me for, I hasten to add. So, what some people thought was a fire sale wasn't a fire sale. It was a reaction, and it was me using every shrewd bit of knowledge I've ever picked up. That's what it was all about. It was all about marketing. It was about nothing else but marketing. And it was about showing people an honest way to market. It's about showing people, telling people, this is what I'm going to do, this is how it's going to come about, this is what I'm going to charge you, and at the moment I'm telling you that and you're going to fall off your chair, but by the time I'm finished, you're going to pay me for that. Here's the phone, watch it ding. And it did. At first, people thought they wanted to fall off their chair laughing at what I was proposing, that they pay me for whatever I was going to charge them for, these Gruffalo coins and so on and so forth in the Gruffalo packaging. And I told them how I was going to do it, and I said, I'm going to fish and reel you in. Once I've got you in, I've got you. And this is what you're going to pay me. And within 20 minutes, the first ding was there. They paid me that. You'd paid me that. You see, it's only because of my understanding of the buying and selling side and applying that to everything else. So now I did some ridiculous deals, keeping people up with me 36 hours. Let me tell you that some of those things that I gave away, yes, they cost us money, not bothered about that, it wasn't a fortune. Some of those things, because remember, every package coin probably cost us about 6 or 7 quid, that's all. Some of those coins, some of those stuff that I gave away were the prints. Now the prints are very, very, very expensive, but they're still cost me next to nothing, and I was honest about that too. You know, it's no different to someone getting a hold of, I don't know, a load of Northern Islands for like 10 pence each. Being honest with people and saying that's all they cost me, 10 pence each, but I'm selling them at 50 quid or selling this item at 100 quid or whatever. So people got some wicked deals. People got 600 quid for stuff for 45 quid. Brilliant. 300 quid for stuff for 50 quid. Brilliant. You know, those people get those packages through the post. They will never forget that for the rest of their lives, and there was a lot of people, and they're off. now. They're off. They're doing all our advertising for us. We don't need to spend one single penny on one single leaflet, because all over the country, everywhere from Weymouth to the tip of Scotland, to Ireland, to Wales, Middlesbrough, Birmingham, you name a place in the country, someone was living in that place that was on that weekend, and they are talking about us non-stop, to their neighbours, to their friends, to everybody they know, coin collectors or not. We've picked up so many new customers from that, it's unreal. So that idea worked, and that's because I'm using what I know. You got me? So even though you don't necessarily understand what I'm doing 100%, there's nothing to stop you calling me up as an investor. There's nothing to stop you talking to me. Don't ever get the just ring me up and say, Ian, I'm not really sure about this. Why are you doing this? What are you doing it for? I tell you. I mean, I don't want customers ringing me up left, right and centre, but investors are different, you know. So, you know, there are dichotomies going on, because at the end of the day, I've got to make you money. You are paying me to make you money. So the decisions that I make, I have to make decisions that are going to have a knock-on effect somehow, some way, to bringing in more income, because that's what you're paying me to do. You're not paying me to fold. You're not paying me to go, oh, I can't go up against Royal Mint and change checker. Oh, we have to call it a day. You're paying me to do that, and I ain't that kind of person. Ill or not, no matter how ill I am, I ain't that kind of person. I'm not going to fold and roll over and lay down for anybody. I'll fight to my absolute last, and now you've seen that. You've seen, and that was another thing I needed to do. I needed to show you, because you're the people putting bundles of money in. So I need to show you the kind of person that you're investing in. Are you investing in someone who will roll over the minute a big boy says he's going to punch them? Oh, please don't hit me. No. You're investing in someone who's going to plant their feet and say, bring on whatever you bring on, and I'll do my best to fight you. I'd rather not fight you. I'd rather you go away, to be honest. I'd rather you go over there and do your own thing. Don't want to fight you. But if you put me in a position, as I said to Ian Glenn, in that meeting, face to face, if you back me into a corner and you leave me nowhere to go, I'm going to come out kicking and screaming, and I'll take someone's eyes out while I'm doing it, in a metaphorical sense. You know, I will break your monopoly, I will break your cartel. I looked him in the eyes and told him that. You know, if you don't do right by us, if you don't fix what you've done wrong and the money that you've cost us, then I am going to fight you. But I'm not going to fight them in their way. I can't win in their world. Not unless I take a little bit of my world with me and I just get hold of them and just bring them down a bit and make them splash about and play in our pond. Because I know our pond. I know our pond like the back of my hand. I don't know their pond. So we need to get them down here a bit, and we need to up a bit. It's like now we can have a little dust up. Now I'm understanding the game. And I am understanding the game to a degree that is difficult to explain, but I'm having a go. So the release of all these coins. Peter Rabbit, we put 25 of those up for sale at £50 each. We sold every single one. Now some people will look at that and go, that's bloody ridiculous. You know, all you're doing is you're taking a coin that you have slagged the mint off for charging £5 for the cardboard and plastic. You're ripping that plastic off and throwing it in the bin, which is going into the landfill waste because it's not recyclable plastic. So you're not doing the environment any good, Ian. You're ripping the coin out of that cardboard, so now you haven't even got the cardboard, and you're messing up the coin. And then you're selling the coin for 5 times what someone can go and buy a brand new bunch of coin for now. You're off your tits, Ian. It's not going to happen. But it did. And I know why it happened. It happened because of this reason. This is what you've got to get your head around. Difficult though it may be, this is what you've got to get your head around to know how something like this works. Because what we've done is we have, together, we have invented a new collecting commodity that wasn't there before. It wasn't there before. it didn't exist. In any realms of the imagination did it exist. I can honestly say that because in 100 years, no one's ever thought of the same thing. I can't understand why no one's ever thought of it, because it's easy to me. But no one's ever thought of it, no one's ever tried to use it. In the last 50 years, no one's ever tried to use it. And, you know, no one's ever tried to use it ever. We have. And we've done something really important. We've taken ownership of it. Think about this. No one else will ever, excuse me, no one else will ever be able to copy us. We've invented a new commodity that no one else can copy. And even if somebody else copied the idea and got the publicity from it, we would get mentioned because we were the first to do it. And Peter Rabbit will get mentioned ad infinitum. If you look now, you cannot find a Peter Rabbit story. In fact, I doubt that you will find a story or an article appear in a newspaper or a magazine in the future about any Beatrix Potter coin, any, without that article referring in some way to the 2019 stunt that we pulled, which puts our name on that article. That means that our stunt, what we've done with the Peter Rabbit, we've now hijacked every Peter Rabbit article for absolute guaranteed certainty that's ever written for now ad infinitum. Long after me and you are dead, people are still writing articles about it. They're still going to be mentioning this stunt. Anytime Peter Rabbit 2019 is mentioned, they will mention this stunt. Also, it is quite likely that every single time they mention any Beatrix Potter coin, they also mention the Peter Rabbit. If you think about it, any coin they've ever written about for Beatrix Potter since 2016 has always included something about the rarest coin, which is the puddle duck. Now it's no longer the rarest coin. Peter Rabbit 2019 is. Even Change Checker are pulling their hair out right now because they've got a decision to make. They've either got to recognise what we've done, and therefore, from now forevermore, they will have to say that the Peter Rabbit 2019 is the rarest 50p, and they will have to acknowledge it, or they're going to try and ignore it, like they do the 29 Olympic coins in their scarcity index, which is, you know, again, another thing. But they can't do any more than do one of two things: either acknowledge it or ignore it. Now, if we carry on doing it, it's going to be harder and harder and harder to ignore it. And that leads me on to the next thing. So, how to pay for this stunt? Well, what we've said is we challenge the mint because we know they ain't going to do it. If you don't release the coins, we will. So we'll release all the coins. All I've got to do is work out a price. All I've got to do is figure out the costings and make it work. It doesn't matter whether we've got all the coins or not, because for the price that people are happy to pay, which, pardon me, I'll come back to, what I've priced into that is, if necessary, even if a coin wasn't available to us wholesale, we could actually go and buy it off the open market and just put it in that box ready to be taken apart and put into circulation. So now people have bought into that, and I priced it at, I said, and then I just, every fibre of my being said I wasn't wrong. I said the moment these coins go into the slot, that 50p coin is now going to be worth 100 quid. So the ones that we send out with a letter of provenance, 100 quid. Those coins, as soon as they go in the slot, 100 quid. That's their value. Now, you can't necessarily get that from finding a coin in your change, get the 100 quid. But with that letter of provenance, as crappy as that letter of provenance is, and I took the mickey out of my own letter of provenance, calling it crap and all the rest of it, but it is still a letter of provenance, and it still comes with a coin. And that little piece of paper, that's what tells anybody that whoever owns that bit of paper was part of this. That it came from this. And this is what people are buying into. It's the fact that these coins were mentioned in the press. These coins have going into circulation. People have a chance to find them. We've pulled a stunt with a fixed number of coins with X amount going into circulation. So the coins that are left over from that box that all got mashed up together now have a value of their own. So does the empty packets. It starts to get difficult to get your head around, but it's true. They have a value of their own because there are people out there that will go, and I was talking to some over the weekend, there are people out there that will say, I know all I have to do is go and buy a coin for a tenner, rip it open myself, rough it up a bit and just slot it in my normal circulated section where I want it. I know I can do that. He said, but the thing in it is, Ian, if I do that, even though I know it's essentially the same thing, I also know, but it's not a coin that come from that stunt. And I want a coin that come from that stunt. Now that's very important. I want a coin that come from that stunt. And I want to know that it's the coin that come from that stunt. And if you ever do it again, they said to me, one of these people certainly said to me, do it again. In my view, what you just did with the Peter Rabbit is like a first edition from the Great British Coin Hunt. He said there would be, what if the Great British Coin Hunt decided to release another 1,000 Peter Rabbits into circulation in 2 years' time or at some point in the future? He said that would be like a second edition because you've already done it once. And he said if you ever did it again, I would want one from that one as well, because I'd want one from every edition. But I would certainly want the first edition from every single one that you do. And there's a lot of people that feel like that. And here's another thing. There are people out there that want the same number all the way through. I am taking calls like you would not believe from people saying to me, you know the deal you offered with the Gruffalo packaging and the Gruffalo coin where you'd give people the same number? Well, I want that on every single coin. I want the same number that I've got on the Peter Rabbit. I want that same number on every single coin. Can you put me down for that? I'm taking so many calls for that. I can't do that. I can't write down people's. That would be too time consuming, too problematic. But what we can do is we can list them all in advance. Remember, the one thing that we are experts at is advance orders. We've been doing advance orders for 4 years. Yes, it's caused a lot of crap, a lot of issues, but you know, we have taken tens and tens and tens of thousands of pounds on advance orders. We can do our advance orders like nobody else can do advance orders. I came up with that idea and all we did was make it better and better and better and better. So what we can do is we've now invented our own commodity because we now have a collectible series that didn't exist, because people are going to want to buy into this every single time we release a coin into circulation. All we've got to do is do it in a way that as a business we can make money out of, but doesn't make us look like money grabbing gits because we're, you know, it's costing us 500 quid but we're charging 20 grand. We don't want things like that. So it needs a little bit more number crunching. I've crunched the numbers again and again and again, and I've improved upon the Peter Rabbit and the Gruffalo. And I've worked out that without a partner, if we don't have a partner, if we don't have an advertiser on board, we can continue doing it, but we can only continue doing it if we sell the same number of items that we give away. So if we're going to give 500 coins into circulation, we sell 500 coins. That pays for the stunt and gives us a workable profit on top to pay for all the costings and all the rest of it. I call it a profit. It's not a profit really. It's pretty much sort of what you would call not breaking even, but done in such a way that it makes us money, it pays the wages, it pays the bills, it pays the investors back, it pays everything it needs to pay, and it still leaves us a little bit of ching-ching over in the till. That's how I've crunched the numbers so far. Where we really, really earn money out of it, and there's no need to hide it, where we would really earn money out of it is when we start getting advertisers on board. Once we start getting advertisers on board, then you're talking about a serious amount of money, you know. But by doing it ourselves, we don't have to be greedy. All we have to do is cover everybody's wages. You know, remember, my goal, my own personal goal, is to get to the point where I can honestly say I'm earning £1 a week. I've been wanting £1 a week for more years than I can remember. I don't consider £1 a week to be, in this day and age, an overly excessive wage. I think someone earning 300 quid a week is like having it seriously tough. I think someone earning £1,000 a week can have a comfortable lifestyle and pay a mortgage. Do you know what I mean? So that's my own personal goal. I'm not looking for £5 a week. I'm not looking for 10 grand a week. And I don't really know if I'd want that kind of money anyway, because I wouldn't know what to do with it. I know me. and I know what I want out of life, and I want to be able to run a decent, honest business and earn a decent, honest wage. And everybody that works with me earn a decent, honest wage, and the people that put money in to get me going and run the business, they get a good return. That's all I'm interested in. Not interested in becoming like Change Checker, £37 million annual turnover, fastest, second fastest, or what are they? The second fastest growing company in the Southwest. They're only like that because they bully over other people and they smash their way over into other people's businesses and take it all themselves. And they've sent a lot of coin dealers to the cleaners. They ain't sending us to the cleaners. They've sent a lot of other people to the cleaners, little tiny cottage industries that have now given up. And I speak to those people often. Not interested, can't be doing it anymore, it's too much stress, it's taking too much toll on their lives, their family, everything else, they give up, you know, and let them have it. And they're just picking up all of this business like a massive alien Hoover, taking it all. And they've come up against us and we've gone, no, you ain't taking us. We'll give you a bit of a punch up. You know, you took advantage of us when I was ill and you kicked us when we were down and you didn't finish us off. That was a big mistake. You should have done everything in your power to finish us off while I was ill, because now I'm still ill, but I ain't as ill as I was then. Now I'm back and I'm ready and I'm able to stand up to them in my own way and in a way that's not going to cost you money, it's going to make you money. So all these people now, they want to buy into every single coin that we do. So now what we need to do is we need to set those listings up in advance to let people buy them in advance. It's going to say in the listing, and I'll say it on the video, it might be, you might buy that coin over there and that coin might get released in 3 months' time. We might chuck that in 3 months' time. But that one over there might not be 2 years. You know, but you're going to buy it in advance because you want that number. It doesn't matter when we release it. There are people out there that they will want that number. They will want to secure that number. So that leads you to think, okay, monetary way, my way, buying and selling, as I have done all my life, what does that actually mean in real finance terms? It means that you're going to have some people on the lower end of the socio-economic ladder that are not earning brilliant wages. They're going to come along and they're going to go, I really want to get the same number in every single one, but I can't afford it. So I'll buy one every fortnight and I'll just hope that the numbers I want, somebody else doesn't take. Because I want to try and get every single one that I can, but I can't afford to lay all the money out. There are going to be some people, that come, and that'll be a regular income with that money going towards that product, right? So, and we can take our money out of it for the expenses of running it all, and the money for the product goes to the product. That product is purchased, whether we've got it in stock. If we've got it in stock, we purchase it off ourselves. If we haven't, we purchase it off of somebody else, but we put that coin specifically in that box, ready to be smashed up. Now, there are people out there that are on the top end of the socio-economic ladder. There are people up there that can afford to go, oh wow, you're going to do that, and you're going to open those up now, and you're going to let me pick the numbers now so I can feel secure in it. Right, I'll have one of every one. Boom, 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 boom. I worked that out. If someone did that, it would be around 15 grand. They'd spend 1,500. Sorry, one person, if they bought one of every single coin and bought the number that they wanted of every single one, it would cost them somewhere in the region of about 1,500 quid. Right? There are some people that can afford to do that, and 1,500 quid is nothing to them. So they will come along and go, I'll have boom, 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 boom. And there are other people, they'll come along and they'll pay their 30 quid once a fortnight. But you'll get 30, 50 people buying that one coin once a fortnight. You multiply it. If 10 people come along and buy one of every single one, that's 15 grand. Boom, straight in the kitty. Now I've worked this out so that at the moment, on the prices that there are out there at the moment, I'm working it out on 50-50. Sometimes it doesn't cost us 50% to buy the coin, but I'm also working in, factoring in as much as I can, how long I think all of this will take. Then I've got the wages. So if I think all of this will take, say, 3 years to be able to release every one of those 35 coins, and we don't know what other ones they're going to bring out yet in the future that they don't release. But if I take 3 years to release those coins and do one every couple of months or something like that, or one a month, or whatever we do it, however we do it, if all of that goes on, it just snowballs. It snowballs and it snowballs and it snowballs, and it gets bigger and it gets bigger and it gets bigger, and people are buying into that all the time. That is our entire new commodity that we've invented, and we just make the certificates better and better quality, and like any time in the past, whatever we do, we try and improve on what's happened before. You see? So I'm hoping you're sort of getting that now, and you're understanding why some of you and other people will be buying into every single coin that we do. On the one hand, yes, it is a bit ridiculous. It is a bit crappy. Someone's going to give 30 quid for a coin they could go and pay for a tenner. They could, but it ain't one of those coins. It's not one of those coins. And to the people that think, yeah, but, you know, papers have quoted these as have been worth a couple of grand. Actually, I guarantee you someone will pay a couple of grand for it. And here's how I'll explain that very quickly. When you've got kids and you're on 200 or 300, 400 quid a week, and you've got kids going, oh, mum, dad, I want this in my collection, it's a £5. You go, yeah, all right, no problem. You can sort that. It's a bit like buying a packet of sweets. You don't even think twice about it, right? Because it's only a couple of bobs. You can afford it, and they're your kids. Got it? Dad, I want a packet of fruit pastels. No, you can have a packet of wine gums. You give them a packet of fruit pastels. It doesn't cost anything to give them what they want, right? Okay. So what about these people that are billionaires and zillionaires and millionaires and whatever heirs and hundreds of thousands heirs and all the rest of it? What about all these people that you know, that they're on 5 grand a week, 10 grand a week, 20 grand a week, 50 grand a week, 100 grand a week? What about these people? What do you think their lifestyles are like? You know, you don't have a situation where you've got the kids going, no, Dad, you know, can I have that computer game that's 40 quid? No, son, I can't afford it. You don't have that situation going on. You have a kid that goes, Dad, see them computer games? I ain't got these ones. How many is it, son? Oh, there's 5 of them, £40 each, 200 quid. Yeah, no worries. I'll pick them up on my way to work. Don't care, because it's pennies to them, because they're on so much money. So when, pardon me, when that child, or even the wife, or even the husband who collects coins, wants one of these, do you think they care how much they pay for it? They want one, and they want it in their collection. So one day, one of these coins will sell for £1,000. It will sell for £2,000. And you will call me nuts now for telling you that this is going to happen, but it is going to happen. You can stand on me on that. 50 years of experience tells me that is exactly what's going to happen. So with everything that's going on now, this is the best time to invest in us. This is the best time, if you're even out there thinking about an investment, this is the best time to invest in us. Is the best time to invest in a company when they've made 50 newspapers across the country online, and various, I've lost count now of how many actual newspapers we're in. I know we haven't been put in a national yet, but we are in a lot of newspapers in the country, and we're in over 50 online and other websites too, you know, and that kind of thing. And that's just growing and growing and growing exponentially. So anybody out there that's thought about it is like, oh wow, this is the best time to invest. Do you invest in a company that before they get that kind of publicity, or when they're on the ball and they're getting that kind of publicity? To the point where once we go national, there will be no point in us asking for or giving investments. There'll be no need. Once we get that massive publicity hit of getting on the telly and getting on Channel 4 News and getting in the Sun and the News of the World, there'll be no need for us to say investors come on, because by that time we get 10,000 customers overnight. We'll be making all the money we want. We won't need investment. You know, think about that. So this is a absolutely momentous occasion. If I've offended anybody, from my heart, I absolutely apologise. No intention to offend anybody whatsoever. No intent, not taking my investors for granted one little bit. On that, I can absolutely promise you. What I'm doing is I'm doing everything within my power, everything within my being to make sure I protect your money. I'm not going to let people like that take us down. I will fight back, and I'll fight back a different way. And now I'm fighting back my own way. And we're going to fight back in a financial way that they never saw coming. And even though Ian Glenn loves the idea and wants to take the idea on himself, he can't now. How can either of those come along now and go, we're going to do the same thing? All they're going to do is be known for copying us. Like they copied us with their scarcity index and said they didn't. But, you know, when I talked to him, I told him, what you did there was outrageous. It was out of order. You could have come to me and talked to me, and I'd have given you the information. We could have shared it. You know, I'm not greedy, but no, you've got to come along, copy my idea, and then tell everybody it's yours. It was your idea. Well, it wasn't. It was our idea first. You know, and so's this. This is our idea first, and they can't copy it. So, is your money safe? Too right it is. Are we going to go up? Oh yes. But we're not just going to go up with one coin. We're going to go up with every single coin. And as long as we make money from distributing every single coin and don't lose money, then I'm doing my job, which is what you want me to do. That's my job. My job is making money, and I'm doing just that. So get ready, because this is going to be explosive, and every single one of you that's on board, this is going to be one hell of a roller coaster ride. You think the last year has been up and down? That is nothing compared to what the next year is going to bring. Get ready to see us on telly. Get ready to see us on Channel 4 News and ITV News and BBC News, and get ready to see us in the national newspapers. Because what we've come up with now is not only our own commodity, we own this commodity, even though it's not our coin. The commodity itself of what we're doing, we own the rights to that without any legal paperwork or anything, because it's been made so public, nobody could copy us now. And we can take our time, do every single coin, and we can get people buying their numbers and everything in advance, and everybody's happy and everybody's a winner, as long as the numbers are crunched correctly, I price it correctly, so that we're not ripping people off, we're not overcharging, and at the same time, we're not undercharging. We need to get the balance right, absolutely right, so that it's like, so if the costs are here, we need to be up here. We need to be up here with a bit of profit, right, and a little bit of incidental money just to cover in case things go wrong. You always need to budget for that. I don't want to be up here. Not interested in being up here and robbing the arse out of people. That's not what I want. I want to get it right. I don't want to be down here either, because that's dangerous. I want to be here. I want to be doing it, making a comfortable profit, giving the people what they want and what we promised, and not taking too much out of it. And I think we can do that, and that's what people are buying into. They're buying into the honesty of the deal. It doesn't matter that this is a coin that you can go and buy for a tenner, and Ian's doing this, that and the other, and he's selling it for 30 quid. It's not about that. It's about people going, do you know what, I like this. This is an honest deal, and I know where I stand from the start. That's what this is about. So I hope I've really covered everything for a good investment update. I hope those of you that are sitting there, maybe going 50p, 1p, 50p, 1p a little bit, are now okay, and you're not worried, and you can see that Ian knows exactly what he's doing. And as for this 5 hours a day live, I'm keeping that up for as long as I possibly can, in order to give them the maximum amount of footage to look through. I am going to mention them at least once every day, to make sure that they've got another 5 hours that they've got to look through. 5 hours at £200 an hour, that's £1,000. And that's just for one solicitor. You know, you're going to have someone taking notes, you're going to have clerks, all that kind of stuff. So I'm keeping that up for the moment. But I've also got some ideas with that, because we're setting up a whole system of live streaming through Twitch, which will go through YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and so on. We get that organised. I've got somebody in mind running that, and there will be other coin tubers getting involved in that. You know, we're getting the coin tubers behind us instead of going up against them. You know, we're not like these people. We don't want to go up against everybody and take all the business. We want to share. Share and share alike, and they like it too. So we've got a lot of people on side, and I need to keep them on side. I need to make sure that we don't do anything that is going to upset anybody. It's very difficult to please everybody all at the same time, but we're having a bloody good go. And I'm sorry this has run on, but I feel that you really did need a proper investment update, so that you know exactly what it is that I'm doing and so that you can actually be comfortable about being on board with it, because you're on board with it whether you like it or not, because your money's in. But I would much rather you be sitting there at home comfortable about being on board with it than being uncomfortable about being on board with it. Okay, so this is why there hasn't been as many individual updates of late, because I've been doing it all on the live stream. But I appreciate that some people are going to need to see these updates. But I better finish now. So that's it, you've got the idea now. So just support us and watch out for those listings coming up. Watch out for the newsletter. And if you're one of those people that wants the same number all the way through for every single coin that we do, then you're going to be able to get it and order it and have it ordered in advance. All right? Lovely jubbly. Thanks very much. Ian Lambert, www.thegreatbritishcoinhunt.com.